Today I'm out here on this 2023 Kawasaki KLR 650. Now guys, I've never ridden this bike before, but after today's ride, I should have a much better idea of what this thing is all about. You guys stick around, I'll get him a chase score at the end of the video. I'm Chaseontwowheels, welcome to a first ride. You know what else dies sometimes? Just kidding, it's not a car though. Those batteries last for freaking ever. So, discount code over there if you want to talk with your friends. God, so much is happening today. Just make me disappear. Alrighty guys, that's what it looks like and that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get on this tractor of a motorcycle, we get to thank the sponsor of this video, which is the helmet I have on, which is Kimpex.
So guys, this is the CKX Atlas and it is a sick helmet that has some features that I've never seen on a helmet before. It's built for adventure, enduro, and road riding, and you can switch between those different modes in like 30 seconds. So right now I've got it in adventure mode, so the peak is on, the visor is on, and the muzzle is attached. I know you probably have never heard the word muzzle talking about a helmet before. And this muzzle is not just for looks, it is there to channel airflow and add extra protection when riding off-road or in rough terrain. What's also awesome about this visor is it's photochromatic. So as you guys see it right now, it's clear, but if I took it out in the sun, it would darken up. And then once the sun went down and it got dark again, it would transition back to clear. I didn't really think I'd care much about a photochromatic visor until I actually used it and realized it basically removes the need to ever swap out visors or wear sunglasses while wearing this helmet. Now, this model uses a fiberglass composite shell, so it's light and comfortable. Now, if you want to ride this thing in enduro mode, just pop the visor off and swap it out for goggles. This is where if I had goggles, I would put them on, but I don't have any. Also, one of the coolest features of this helmet that I've never seen before, that whole muzzle thing. Whole thing pops off for maximum airflow. Also, the visor has adjustability. How freaking cool is that? Oh, you're done riding off-road and you want to ride in road mode? Boom, just like that, road mode. This is actually the first helmet I've ever tested that has this removable front and muzzle area. And on these hotter days that we've been having that much airflow going directly into your face has been a game changer. And I really hope a lot of other companies see that kind of thing and maybe start introducing it into their helmets. Also, the adjustability on the visor or the peak up here to be able to come over like this and adjust, that's a pretty awesome level of adjustment that you can have on a helmet. If you guys want to check this helmet out, I'll have a link for it in the description down below. Thank you, Kimpex, for sponsoring this episode. And with all of the adjustability, I think a lot of you guys might want to check this thing out. But anyway, we got a bike to ride with this on.
Also, guys, real quick, this is a used model here at Mountain, and I wanted to go over a couple of the modifications that this bike has that makes it not stock, at least from what I understand. One, we do have a Leo vents exhaust on the bike, and we have the Kawasaki fog lights. Now, these are a Kawasaki accessory you can buy for this motorcycle. They do not come on this bike. And then the foot pegs. The foot pegs are kind of weird. They kind of, I don't know if you guys can tell, they rotate, which is really weird. I've never ridden a bike with rotating pegs. Obviously, I'm not going to be judging the foot pegs, the exhaust, or the fog lights because it's not stock, and I try to make these first rides for you guys based on a stock motorcycle. So we won't really be talking about that stuff today. But without further ado, let's get on this thing and let's see what the KLR is all about. Fun fact, the last time I rode a KLR was a 2015 model. So this is 8 years since that 2015 model. Let's get the key on, and while I'm getting the key on, guys, let's talk about the height. I'm 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and I am on tippy toes, mostly, not necessarily because I'm very high, but the seat is very wide. So that's kind of stopping me from really getting my feet on the ground. And if you guys are a fan of KLRs, you know that this bike is not a bike to be fancy or start. Cool, there we go. Yeah, there's no modes, there's no anything like that, no electronic stuff on this bike. We do have ABS. Yes, we got ABS, but that's basically it. So a pretty cut and dry first ride today, guys. We get to experience adjust the bike. By the way, look at this helmet. It has a transition visor, which is really cool. But if you open it up, you get this transition part at the top, but it's not transitioned here at the bottom yet. It's kind of funny. Anyway, let's get this first ride going. If you guys live in Georgia, I'm doing this video during the big heat wave that we're getting. So if I melt and die on camera, that was why. Also, other cool things, you guys should join our newsletter. We let you guys know when we go, what videos we put out. We only send it to you once a week. So join the On2 crew, because YouTube's never going to let you guys know when we put videos out. All right, guys, let's get the KLR first ride going. The tractor itself coming straight into stop traffic. So we've already done the camera car run today, guys, and let me tell you, traffic is really bad today, and it's like a random Wednesday. So you guys that are watching at home, just prepare yourselves. A really cool little car. Prepare yourself for lots of traffic. So we'll see how the game plays out. When we were looking into what first ride to do today, guys, I saw the new KLR, this is the new style KLR that came out a couple years ago, or a few years ago at this point. And I saw that and I was like, oh, I've already done a first ride on that thing, because I could have swore I did. And then, because I like the way this KLR looked, and then I looked it up on the channel and I'm like, wait, I haven't done a first ride on that bike at all. You know, like I told you guys, it was 10 years ago, 2015, that I last did one. So kind of got excited about this one. Anyway, enough about that, guys. This is the first ride. Let's talk about body position. On the KLR, we have a massive seat. As I was talking to you guys earlier in the video, it's a very wide seat. It's a very comfortable seat. It's very soft as well. So you are not going to have any butt soreness at all on this motorcycle. And then my legs right underneath me, very comfortable. And my upper half is very relaxed, straight up. And the handlebars oddly feel like they're closer to me than I really expect. I expected my arms to be like this, and instead they're kind of back towards me. This is going to sound super strange, but the body position, at least the top half, is reminding me of a Goldwing. Because a Goldwing, I feel like you ride very back from the front of the bike, and I'm getting that same vibe on this bike. It's kind of weird, and I know these bikes have nothing to do with each other, so I'm not saying this is like a Goldwing. I mean, they're both comfortable, so I guess there's that, but yeah, it's kind of strange. I've never sat on a bike and the body position reminded me of another bike so strongly, so that was kind of strange. Goodness gracious, that visor was locked on. So guys, this is typically where we change modes. As I told you guys, we have no modes, but you know what we do have? We have fog lights. We'll turn those on for shits and gigs. So guys, powering the 2023 KLR is going to be Kawasaki's 652cc single. It's going to be good for around 31 horsepower, and get this, 39 foot-pounds of torque. Actually has more torque than horsepower. Now that package is going to come in at a weight of 460 pounds, and really crazy about this bike, has a 6.1 gallon gas tank. So you are going to be not only fuel efficient, but you are going to have a ton of fuel on board. So this bike is going to really excel for those long rides, because you're going to be able to go so far in between fill-ups. What car is in front of me? Because that thing looks sick. Please don't be a Tesla. What do we have? A Porsche, the brand new Porsches. Okay, I'll accept that. That's a correct answer, Chase. So guys, as we meander past the cop here, let's talk about how the KLR is in a city setting. There's a couple pros and a couple cons, to be honest. So first pro, I feel like I'm high up. You guys can see my head's about the same height as an SUV. And I feel like I have a really good presence about me. The mirrors come way out, so I can see entirely behind me without my arms getting in the way, which I really like. So I really like the amount of presence I have around me. The cons are gonna necessarily be with the power of the motorcycle. Like, even when I'm in a lower RPM, the bike takes a little bit of time to like pick up and get going. So you're not necessarily gonna have that jump around traffic power. And then not only is it a heavier motorcycle, like I said, 460 pounds, which that's a pretty hefty bike for a 650. Not only is it going to be heavier, but it has that larger front tire, which is going to be nice for off-road, but the steering is not going to be very fast on this motorcycle. So it's very much a bike that you are going to have to be making decisions far ahead of time. It's not like you're going to be able to see something and like quickly jump out of the way. Like, the bike seems a little top heavy and it'll topple quickly, but it doesn't go in that direction quickly, if that makes sense. I'll show you guys. So like, get the bike moved over and then it takes a second. Hopefully that made sense when you guys saw that. So it's definitely a bike you got to be logical, right? You can't just like not think about it and just kind of like make it around stuff. I will say the suspension doesn't feel quite as hard as the old model. From what I found out, the previous gen KLR, a lot of people had a lot of problem with suspension. Let's get this leaned over. Oh, whoa, good God. Suspension wiggling around on me in the corner. A lot of people had an issue with the older model KLR. They said the suspension was too soft. So apparently Kawasaki stiffened up the suspension, and it feels better, but it's still being really comfortable. But I will say it's pretty soft. And if you guys didn't know, this bike MSRP is for $7,200. And this used one at Mountain Motorsports is only $6,000, so it's $5,999. So don't expect to get adjustable suspension. As you guys can see, you do not have that here. And it has the regular suspension. It doesn't have upside down front forks. So suspension is definitely on the softer side. And when you mix that softer suspension, the lack of power, and a little bit heavier weight, it is something that you're going to have to take into effect and be cautious of. That being said, if you're going to do off-road with this bike, I think the suspension would feel pretty good, honestly. Look at that. We got passing power for the street. No problem. Yeah, the more I'm riding this thing around, the more speed I get underneath me. I realize that this is just one of those methodical bikes. You're not going to be doing crazy stuff on this thing. You just got to be thinking about and like have forward thought of what you're doing and just be mature about it. You know what I mean? Don't make stupid quick decisions. That seems like it would get you in trouble on this bike. So wrapping up the city portion of this first ride, overall, not really a problem. Like I have no problem kind of riding this thing around the city all over the place. It feels pretty good. I have no issues. I would like a little more power, but I don't necessarily need it to, you know, get around traffic and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and get in that left lane before traffic gets silly. Now, where the power might come into a problem and the gearing might come into a problem, so I'll touch on that. Normally I talk about it later in the video, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now. This bike is actually only a 5-speed, so there's only 5 gears. So it's 1 down, neutral, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a little bit of an oddity there for the market right now. Just something to keep in mind, though. And I imagine we're going to be feeling the wrath of that on the highway. It's only a 650, which is not normally a bad, you know, power area, but it's a single. So I'm putting my money on the highway is going to be a little tough on the big girl, but we'll find out. Man, sitting still gets warm on this thing. All right, guys, looks like we might get the green. So we're going to be finding out how fast the 2023 Kawasaki KLR 650 can go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour. And I have a feeling it's going to be a slower one. So we will put it to the test and find out for you guys. I am in second gear currently, and that is going to be too high or too low. I think we'll barely get to 40 in second gear. We are going to be in the emergency lane all day today. All right, guys, 40 to 80. Let's see how it does on your marks. Get set, go. Not going to be able to do it. There's people in the lane. Come on. 80. Woohoo! Barely, baby, barely. Holy crap. Normally nobody's in that lane. What was that? All right, what was the time on the 40 to 80? Also, if I didn't hit 80, we're going to count that I was almost at 80. I think I hit it, but it might have got to like upper 79, but we're going to count that time anyway. So a little longer to get to 80. Not a surprise. We kind of expected that. Now, I'm in 5th gear going 70 miles an hour currently, And the main thing I'm feeling right now is a comfortable seat still, so good there. Tracking well here on the highway. The main issue I'm feeling is a lot of vibration in the foot pegs and the handlebars. I can feel it in the seat. I can feel all the vibration, but it's not as bad because the seat is so soft. But I wouldn't want to ride this on the highway at this speed for a ton of time. Just, I don't like being able to feel that much vibration. I feel like my hand would go numb eventually. And we're going 75. This is about like highway speeds for the interstate. Now, power-wise, I am kind of happy that there's still some in the tank to get around. I don't feel like this is dangerous for the highway at all. God, it is windy as today. I hope you guys can hear me. But yeah, other than the vibrations, that's really the only bad thing. With the windscreen, I'm not 100% sure if that's stock. I think it is. If so, the wind's going right at the very top of my helmet, and even with an upright body position right now, I'm very comfortable. I mean, I could lean in and get no wind on me at all if I wanted to, but don't really have a need for that. If I could figure out the vibration in my foot pegs and my handlebars, this thing would be solid. There's no cruise control, unfortunately. I know it's a lower cost motorcycle, but still, I feel like you could tour on this thing if it had cruise control. Obviously, there's like physical aftermarket stuff you can buy for that. But I really would have liked to see cruise control on this thing. Overall, though, kind of surprised at how well it's doing here on the highway. We'll get over and prepare to exit the highway, but kind of surprised. I thought this thing would be way less powered for the highway, and I was a little worried about it because, you know, it's like Patrick says, this is the bike that started the ADV bike craze. So if it's not able to do highway, it would kind of suck. But that was actually surprising. Now, with this big turn, feeling the suspension back on the road, I'm going to tone it down a little bit. We also have dual sport tires on this bike, so a lot of stuff kind of working against us for getting some speed behind us. So we'll see if it settles down with a bigger turn. Yeah, I don't love this feeling. It feels very top heavy. It feels like the bike kind of wants to fall over, and not in a good way. And the suspension is just bouncing around. I don't feel that planted with that suspension. On the street, it's comfortable and soft, but I just need it to be a little more planted. Bro, what was that? You're gonna cut somebody off and then have nobody in front of you and not go. Like, that's a shitty way to drive. Anyway, guys, yeah, not in love with the suspension, to be honest. Feel like it could be stiffened up, but honestly, I don't really see this bike as being a bike somebody's gonna get on and like go do a track day with. I guess you could if you had the right tires, but this bike's just not meant for that. You got that 21-inch front tire. It's made for off-road and dual sport use. So power-wise, happy about having enough power to not only get on the highway, but be on the highway and still have passing power. Now, I will say, with that stupid-ass white Tesla that cut us off, the brakes are really light. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised with that. Not a performance brake situation. Started laying on the brakes. Suspension just kind of not bottoms, but like really lowers. And I'm just not coming to a stop as fast as I want to, especially in city settings where people are going to do exactly that. They're going to cut you off all the time. I don't love that, but I do love that it has ABS, so at least for that. As far as the gearing goes, with the 5-speed that we have here, very short gears, which is kind of normal for a single. You're not going to be revving a single out very much, and you don't even have a rev meter, so you won't even know. But I feel like you do not stay in a gear very long if you're accelerating. You're going through the gears quickly, so I would say expect to find fifth very often, even here on the street. So I'm in fifth already, you know what I mean? So you end up just getting to fifth pretty quickly on this bike. It feels kind of normal with a single. That's kind of what I would expect riding a single around. But yeah, definitely a bike you're going to be shifting a lot. So as far as the shift feel goes, I will say shifting this motorcycle, something feels like old school about it. Like, I feel like I can really like feel gears shifting. That's pro or con. You know, I can actually feel it when I shift up through the gears, but it feels like a very old school transmission. Not necessarily a problem, just a way the bike feels. I feel like that's the whole vibe of the KLR, really, though. It's like, upgrade what they need to. This bike doesn't get a ton of upgrades very often, but like, it has a very old school feel. Yeah, very mechanical, the shifting, though. That's the main thing I'm taking away from that. So we will get the bike shifted down, and God, so much front dive. The bike gets very upset under hard braking. I would too if my front dove that much. I am not sure what that means. All right, so guys, let's talk about the controls up here. We have a very simple setup here. We have silver levers. They're fine. They are what they are. Adjustable on the left, not adjustable on the right. As far as buttons, very simple as well. We got horn, we got blinkers, we got hazards or brights. And then we have a passing light on the other side. And then we have a kill switch on the right side. In the middle, we have the key, and then old school dash, just a digital dash. And it has the old school buttons if you want to cycle through your information. Not a crazy lot to talk about. Like, the stuff feels kind of cheap, and it feels cheap not in a way of like it feels low cost. It is the cheaper version of stuff, but it works totally fine. I'm gonna explain this in case people are not aware. There's cheap stuff that doesn't work well, and then there's cheap stuff that works exactly like it should. This is cheap stuff that works exactly like it should. It's not fancy, it's not trying to be, it's just utilitarian, and it's there. Speaking of utilitarian, that is really what I'm getting from this KLR. A very utility bike. The dash does not give you any information you don't need. You got a clock, you got a gas gauge, and you got your speed, and then you got your little extra info area. I would really like to see a gear indicator on that dash. You even have this little area right here where they could put that. I'm not sure why it doesn't have a gear indicator, especially on a bike with a 5-speed. It would be nice to have a gear indicator, but it doesn't. It's fine. And then this is the auxiliary headlights. This would be an aftermarket installation with those front fog lights. Really nothing else to talk about the front, guys. The grips seem fine. I'd probably get different ones just to get a little better like grip on them, but that's kind of the vibe of this motorcycle. So before I end up talking about where I think this bike is, what it is, and all that kind of stuff, let's see how it lays out on a chase score, and then we'll wrap this video up, guys.
All right, guys, so let's do the chase score for the 2024 Kawasaki KLR 650. For throttle response, I'm going to give it a 5. It's slow to react, but predictable once you get moving. For agility, I'm also going to give it a 5. The bike's a little top heavy and sluggish to move for quick maneuvers, especially in the city thanks to that larger front tire. Brakes wise, I'm going to give the bike a 4. They have a soft bite, but have a lot of front end dive. They're not exactly confidence inspiring. Next up, for acceleration, I'm going to give it a 4. It'll get you there eventually. Just don't be in a rush. Suspension wise, I'm going to give it a 5. It's comfortable for off-road, but too squishy for spirited street riding. Next up, we have comfort, and I'm going to give the bike a 7. It's got that wide plush seat that makes it surprisingly cozy place to sit for a few hours. Now for tech, I'm going to give the bike a 3. It's got a bare bones dash and no gear indicator. This thing's from a simpler time. Now for ease of use, I'm going to give the bike a 6. It's got simple controls and a layout that makes it super easy to operate, even for new riders. Next up, we got versatility. It's kind of a do-it-all workhorse that can handle light ADV and city duty, as well as some light touring. It would only be the real sporty stuff that this bike just wouldn't be for. Now finally, we got fun for the money. I'm honestly going to give it a 7. For under $7,000, you're getting a rugged machine that just keeps on going that I think a lot of people could have a really good time with. And guys, that's going to give a ride score of 23. That's going to give a usability score of 29 for a overall chase score of a 52.
All right, so guys, that's the chase score. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments down below. So guys, after riding the KLR around, I feel like it has a couple drawbacks that if you are not looking for that style of thing, then this bike comes in at a phenomenal value. So like I said, MSRP $7,200, and this used model with how many, 6,000 miles is only 6 grand at Mountain. So if you're not looking for speed out of a motorcycle, or you're not looking for, like, I guess not even speed, if you're not looking for high performance or really mid to high performance, and you're okay with a vibey motorcycle, I think you should definitely look into this motorcycle. I love the way the bike looks. I think it looks very, like, it can take on a lot, which it can. The KLR is known in the motorcycle industry as a bulletproof motorcycle. This thing might vibrate to hell, but somehow it vibrates like hell and also feels incredibly reliable at the same time. I don't know how that's a thing, but it's the way the bike is feeling to me. So if you guys can make sense of that in the comments, I would love to understand why. But you also get a 6-gallon gas tank on a bike that's gonna sip fuel. So, like, while I wouldn't love it for the highway, this bike would be an absolute picturesque bike for like a big serious adventure. You can go long distances on a tank. You're going to be very comfortable for a long period of time, and you're going to be able, with the obviously get a good set of tires on it, but you know, with a softer suspension, it's an ADV bike, you're going to be able to take this thing on and off road. I kind of love this thing as a cost-effective adventure bike, and while it's not going to lead the class in anything, I think it comes in at a fantastic price that makes it so you have to pay attention to it. And guys, before I wrap up, I want to give a shout out to Mountain Motorsports in Roswell. That's what we borrowed the bike from. If you guys want to check those guys out, huge, awesome dealership in North Georgia. We'll have a bike provided by link in the description down below. There's no way that Mercedes is stopping there. Yeah, I didn't think so. But yeah, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. You guys share this video out with somebody that needs a KLR that you want to go take an adventure with. And I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys go ride safe. Also, if you guys want to see more bikes we've done first rides on, links in the description down below for a playlist. All right, KLR, that's it. Nice job, tank.